Keep those guesses coming through. And while you're having a little think about that, let me introduce our next item, which is this at 26 minutes to 4 for BBC Radio Merseyside. And it's the item regarding the Liverpool Blitz that lasted from 1940 to 1942 and brought devastation to thousands of lives and destroyed many buildings. Well, the Museum of Liverpool has partnered with the Liverpool Blitz Memorial Trust at St Nicholas's Church to create a fascinating and moving trail that explores just some of the Liverpool waterfront and city centre locations hit during that turbulent period of history. Keith Jones is a photographer and creator of the popular social media account Liverpool Then and Now, and Kay Jones is lead curator of urban and community history at the museum. I've been talking to them about the trail and what people can expect to see on it.
Hi Helen, welcome to the Museum of Liverpool. I'm Kay Jones, lead curator of community history, and we're here at Blitzed Liverpool Lives exhibition, and we have also created a new walking trail so people can come to the exhibition here at the museum, really enjoy hearing the kind of stories of people who were directly affected by the Blitz, look at these amazing collection of archive photographs taken by Liverpool City Police which really kind of document the devastation that was really brought to the city from the Liverpool Blitz. Obviously Liverpool was a massive target, being a port city, the docks and the transport, but also the wider residential areas were hit as well. So this exhibition really kind of showcases all the different kind of how people were affected in lots of different ways. It's really, really incredible, powerful images alongside those kind of the audio testimony of people who were there at the time who really bring it to life for us today.
I'm loving the idea of the trail being at St Nicholas's Church on the waterfront and linking here with the museum. Tell us about that partnership and that theme, obviously, the Blitz, linking the two.
Obviously everyone's been really excited to come to the exhibition and to see the images and listen to the stories. But what a lot of people said is, well, where are these kind of sites now? What does it look like now? So I've been a big fan of Keith Jones, the Liverpool Then and Now, his social media sites, who he kind of compares the kind of then and now images. So that really just clicked for me. So working with St Nicholas's Church alongside the Liverpool Blitz Memorial Appeal to create this fantastic trail so people can get out and about. This is just city centre based, this one. It's about a kind of 2-mile walking tour around the city centre, starting at St Nicholas's Church, along the waterfront, primarily the Strand, walking through Church Street, Lord Street, Fleet Street, kind of maybe some unexpected streets as well, ending back here at the museum. So after you've kind of experienced those sites for yourself, really kind of looked at the images, imagining what it was like at the time, what it is now, and then you can come and enjoy the exhibition when you finish the trail here at the museum.
We'll head over to Keith in a moment, but before I do, Kay, tell us about, from a historical point of view, the impact of the Blitz.
It was absolutely huge. I think a lot of people will know that London and Coventry were really badly affected. I think that's the kind of the main narrative, isn't it? And Liverpool isn't really talked about in such great terms, but it was the second most bombed city outside of London. Over 4,000 people died. There's still legacies today from people's families. Obviously, whole families were kind of wiped out, but also the physical legacies of the city. Huge buildings were obliterated. Big kind of swathes of the city were changed in the 1960s as a result of all the bombing, and as you probably know, bomb sites kind of survived in the city for a long time. Lots of people talk about playing on them when they were kids. The legacy of the Blitz is when you can still see shrapnel damage on the buildings, but primarily the kind of the big changes when you see whole swathes of the city which would have changed and the massive impacts on that. And some people's lives were never the same again, and you can definitely hear that through lots of the interviews in the exhibition.
It was hard to see these people who'd lost their homes and didn't know where the rest of the families were at that point. They just wanted comforting, really, a lot of the time.
Hello, I'm Keith Jones. I'm a local amateur photographer interested in history and re-photography, and I was thrilled to be asked to be part of the project by the Museum of Liverpool and St Nicholas's Church and the Memorial Trail.
Keith, what a task to do to put this all together. Where'd you begin?
I mean, I've been using reef photography as a hobby for nearly 10 years now. What I try to do is document the changes to the city, which are usually more gradual, but the photographs taken by the Liverpool City Police in the 1940s were just so dramatic, and the devastation was incredible. And most of the places on the trail that we're doing at the moment around the city centre have been rebuilt almost as if they were new. It's not a case where people say it was better in the past. Things were awful in the early 1940s because of the war, but it's a great example of people building back to a great level. Yeah.
So what can people expect on the trail?
Well, it's around about a 2-mile trail, starting from St Nicholas's Church opposite the pierhead. There are 10 sites along the trail where you can walk along with the map as a guide. It describes what happened and when, what the damage was to individual sites. I use an old photograph and I retake from as close as I can to the original spot what the scene looks now. You'll see the devastation caused by the German bombers. Next to it, there'll be a photograph of how it looks in 2022. It's a side-by-side comparison of the terrible damage that was caused and how the city's moved on and the places are back in use again now.
What would be that image for you then, in your research and putting it all together, that stopped you in your tracks?
I think there was the overhead railway by the Museum of Liverpool on the pierhead. It was absolutely destroyed around the three great, what we now call the three graces. Piles of rubble, twisted metal. But I know that it was restored and went back into use until 1957 or thereabouts, when the overhead railway came down. I think it's testament to the spirit of the people of the city. It must have been an absolutely huge clean-up.
And your photography angle then, where Keith goes, always the camera in hand. And I love the now and then element. I think that's really powerful. That's
what I do. That's my hobby. I've been doing it for quite some time now. And I find it interesting whether a scene has changed completely. I find that really interesting. Or if a scene maybe 100 or 120 years later is recognisable. You know, some buildings, some of the grander buildings like St George's Hall and many others, almost completely unchanged structurally. Things have changed around them. All the modern sort of trappings of, you know, inner cities and stuff.
How will those on the trail then see your photographs?
There's then and now images printed on the paper trail, which is free, available from the reception at the Museum of Liverpool. So for each site, the 10 sites on the trail, there'll be a Liverpool City Police photo from 1941, and then my modern retaking from the original.
We'll head back to Kay just to get the lowdown on, in your opinion, who do you think the trail is aimed at?
I think everyone. The exhibition, you see families of all ages really chatting together, and I think that's one of the joys of exhibitions, that they can talk to younger children, older people, and kind of share their own experiences, stories, and it's also the kind of getting the perspective of younger people. So I imagine it's kind of families can go out, have a nice walk, and then spot all these kind of amazing then and now experiences as you go around.
And I think it's nice then that it ties in with the exhibition here at the museum.
Absolutely. Obviously, there's the memorial statue in the gardens of St Nicholas's Church.
Yeah, just describe that for us.
It's a lady holding a small child, and up some kind of stairs there's a smaller boy holding a Spitfire up to the sky, and it's a memorial for all those people who very sadly lost their lives in the Blitz. Lots of local people contributed to raising the money for the statue, so really it's a kind of testament still to the people of the city who really want to memorialise what people went through and the sacrifices made.
And I'm glad I've come today. Such a busy day today here at the museum. How is a footfall with visitors coming back for the summer holidays?
Oh, it's brilliant to see. We're free entry. There's so many things for kids to do over the summer holidays. We've got lots going on. So yeah, we've really picked up after COVID, and everyone's just really enjoying seeing people enjoy the museum again.
And Keith, going back to you then, what would be the gem, the little bit of knowledge that you didn't know about Liverpool Blitz that you've since found out since your work and involvement with the trail?
It's not often talked about. Obviously, the docks and the city centre were a massive target, but also there was so much disruption in the suburbs and the residential areas. Where I live is quite out of the city, but one of the bombs had landed in a back garden of a house in the next road to me. You know, a parachute mine had landed there, so it brings it home that people who weren't living near what might have been considered a target, the docks, the city centre, were still in danger, and they must have still been scared every night.
I can't wait to get my trainees on and have a little butchers myself from St Nick's here to the museum. Give us the dates of when it is all running from and to.
So the trail is available now, and the exhibition at the museum is open until December this year.
A pleasure, guys, to catch up. Thank you so much to Kay and to Keith as well. And more details, check out information on... Kay, just give us a reminder of that for us.
Yeah, liverpoolmuseums.org.uk.
A must-do if you've got visitors ascending and you are wanting to find out an interesting way for them to see the history of the city, then that trail is a must, and it's completely free, followed up with of course, the exhibition at the Museum of Liverpool.